Órale. The Vario love oldies, that kind. Órale.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is I, of course, your girl, Ms. Crystal Marie from Barrio Love Oldies, right here on the Barrio Love Oldie podcast with episode number 11 with none other than Lady Lost. So, we're going to go ahead and get into her interview in a bit. But really quick before we start, I did want to just say thank you guys so much for your continuous love and support. It has truly been overwhelming just how much how much love we received, and I'm honored. I truly have had a blessed time with each one of our guests, and I'm excited because we have a lot of upcoming episodes with amazing people. I don't want to give out too much, but we are booked out all the way until September. But nonetheless, even though we do have availability in September, I do want to continue to invite you guys. Don't be afraid. Feel free to reach out to us. If you have a story to share on how you got into the Sound of Soul, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up in our email. Our email is barrioloveodiesofficial@gmail.com. Again, that's barrioloveodiesofficial@gmail.com, or reach out to us directly at 760-498-3331. You can also text us, but just get a hold of us. Let us know. We'll put you on the calendar because we definitely want to hear your story. And with that being said, I don't want to take up too much time, but thank you guys so much, and I'm super grateful to all our guests that we have had so far. But all right, let's go ahead and get into a word from one of our sponsors.
Solar Shine. At SoCal Solar Shine, we specialize in professional solar panel cleaning. Our mission is to maximize the efficiency and lifespan of your solar energy system by removing dust, debris, and grime that accumulate over time. With over 15 years of experience, our trained technicians use advanced cleaning techniques and filtration systems to ensure your panels are restored properly and operating at peak performance. We offer flexible scheduling and competitive pricing. No job too big or too small. Call or text 310-259-3840. Again, 310-259-3840 for a free estimate. Bringing the Southern California sun back to your panels.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 11. I have none other than the beautiful, the one and only Lady Lost Soul. Thank you so much for being here with me. I am super honored and blessed to have you on our podcast, and I'm super excited about everything we're going to talk about today. How are you?
I am great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I really do appreciate it. I do. Thank you. And
Yes.
I'm excited as well.
I know, me too. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Let us know where you're from, where were you born, raised, all that good stuff.
Well, I was born at White Memorial Hospital in East LA, and I was raised in Northeast LA, Elysian Valley. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It's close to Dodger Stadium, like a little town called Frogtown. That's where I was raised. My whole life, I still reside in LA. Yeah, I've been there my whole life. I don't think I would ever move. Yeah, just a lot of good memories there.
Yeah, I am not. I would go to LA, not too often, but I did have relatives that live there. So we would go when I was young a lot. But I'm actually from a small place called the Imperial Valley. Have you ever heard of that place?
Yes.
Yeah?
I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're Imperial Valley is known for like its two biggest prisons are Calipatria and Centinela. That's what the Imperial Valley is known for. For those two prisons, that's where I'm from.
Wow, that's a good one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And okay, so dope. So you're raised in LA. What was the culture like where you grew up?
It's cool, just very family orientated. Friends, my dad and my mom were very close to their friends. They would get together, have their backyard parties and just, yeah, like I said, very family orientated. Just, my dad, was about family, his cars. My dad he loved bombs, and he always had any kind of bomb you would think about. He had, yeah, it was a cool little city where I grew up in Elysian Valley. Had a lot of friends growing up. The schools are good. I will say, every school has its little, everybody has their little group. But I will say a lot of my friends, my parents' friends, I grew up with their kids, and we all went to school together, and till this day we're still friends. So I have a lot of old childhood friends that I still talk to and grew up with. So, just very tight, very tight.
For sure. And that's like the culture around your environment, but what was it like growing up in your home?
It was fun. It was a blessing. I grew up with both of my parents. I have 4 siblings from my actual parents, and my dad had 2 siblings after my mom passed. So it's the total of 6 of us. Yeah, and I'm the oldest.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
So you're the first baby girl, huh?
Yeah, the first one. The baby girl. Yeah.
Wow.
First
and did you have like a close relationship with your siblings growing up? What was that like? Like, what kind of music would you guys listen to?
So me and my sister are 4 years apart. So I will say her and I grew up more together. Then it's my other 2 brothers. They're, obviously younger. But I will say, yeah, me and my sister were very close. I have a lot of cousins that I grew up with because my grandma owned a duplex, and he lived in the back house, she lived in the front house. So all of my cousins would stay at my grandma's because she used to watch them, so it wasn't so much just growing up with my sister, it was with my cousins too, because they were there every day and we would play together. Back in the day, all the kids just wanted to be outside playing, so that's, we were all really close. But yes, me and my sister were really close. Music was always played in my house, always. My dad, he was a big collector. He started collecting back in the 80s. And he would literally have his homeboys would come over, and he used to, when it was cassettes, he used to make cassettes for his homeboys. And those were and so he came out with secret sounds. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
No, I'm not.
Secret sounds. Okay, well those were a hit back in the, I want to say, early 90s, maybe 80s going into 90s. Those were a hit. That's what he first started with. Then he moved on to CDs, of course, putting his records onto CDs. And it was just like a little fun hobby thing that he was doing, making CDs for his friends. But I will say my dad had a really very big passion for music. He loved his music. Every day, like I said, I would wake up and it was music playing in our house. My mom would be drinking her coffee, and my dad would be like, so what do you think about this song? And then, when he started with Lost Oldies, he would ask my mom, so what do you think? Do you think I should add this song to this CD? Or, it was just always a vibe. And I will say, doo-wop. Doo-wop was probably my first love of oldies because that's what my dad would listen to a lot, I want to say, at first. And then he started, like I said, he did the Secret Sounds, and then he also was partnered up with Underground. I'm not sure if you've seen that CD, the Underground oldies. Yeah, so his partner started that one first by himself. Then my dad kind of jumped into that one. Then they finished that one. He kind of like brought his music and started, they got together and they, they finished the Underground.
That's dope.
And then he was also a part of, I'm not sure if you're familiar with George Miller. He got together with him. Yeah, he got together with him and they did Lost Group Harmony. My dad was a part of that as well. So he was a part of a lot of comps, and he started Secret Sounds. After Secret Sounds, he did City of Angels. That was a CD. After City of Angels, like I said, he helped with the Underground, and then from there, he just brought Lost Soul Oldies, and that's just what opened everybody's ears, he wanted everybody to hear what he was hearing, so he kind of just brought that out, and that is Rare Soul. And then the Rare Soul just started popping off, and everybody fell in love with it. And honestly, I didn't realize how popular that music was until it came out and people were buying it. My dad used to sell his CDs to Secret Sounds, and he would even send me over there, to go deliver CDs, and I didn't realize, like, wow, this music is really, like, I was so used to, like, the level ones, you know what I mean, like the classics. And then once I heard the Rare Soul, it was just like, oh wow, this is something different. Like, wow,
What do you think inspired or where do you think that love for music came from your dad? Like, why do you feel that your dad loved this kind of music so much, that he was so passionate about?
The sound, I probably want to say the sound. Not only did my dad listen, like, it wasn't about too much the sound. I mean, yes, it was the sound. It was something different. But at the same time, my dad really listened to the music. Like, he would tell me, sit down and listen to this song and tell me what you think after. And I'd be like, okay. I would sit there and listen, and he'll be like, listen to the words. And I'd be like, okay. And then he'll be like, did you understand it? And sometimes, the first song, you're like, okay, I kind of did. But then he would be like, all right. He would tell me the whole story, and I'll be like, wow, like, that's deep. Like, yeah, let me hear it again. I want now that you're telling me, I want to hear it again,
Yeah.
So it wasn't, so I don't know, my dad just had this ear for music, like, I've met people now that have so much love for music, but my dad really loved music. Like, he really did, and he enjoyed it, and he just, he just kept on, like, just buying and buying and buying, and just, he started collecting out of, like, I want to say late 80s, 90s, and it wasn't easy collecting back then because there was no internet like there is now. Like, we have Discogs and, people selling stuff on Instagram. Like, it wasn't like that. He literally had to, like, know people and call, and it was just harder back then, but somehow he got his hands on them.
Do you remember going with him to go look for records and be on the hunt for that?
So I did, like, he would go to, like, Norwalk Records and Sounds of Music. He did do a lot of I know he would buy a lot of music. Well, he had people that would buy music off him, like, they would do trades with music,
Okay.
So it wasn't too much, like, digging. He just kind of, like, knew people, and he would make phone calls, and it just, just like that. But then, of course, once the internet started, forget it. He was just constantly on that computer and, just buying and buying and buying.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how your love and passion came about from your father, right?
Yes, and I will say my mom too. My mom loved music. She loved oldies, and I want to say the love of music probably came from both of my parents, because I know my aunt now tells me that she just recently told me that I didn't know this. My uncles, my mom's brothers, used to sing like the Midnighters, and they used to sing. Yeah, they used to sing in their neighborhood, which is the neighborhood that I grew up in. They used to sing every Sundays, and everybody would come watch them, and I didn't even know that. I was like, really? I didn't even know that. And she was like, yeah, mija. She's like, they used your uncles and the neighbors or their friends. Yeah, they had a little band, and they used to sing like the Midnighters, and they would come watch them. And I was just like, wow. So I'm like, okay, so that just comes from both my parents, I guess. Then
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Always into oldies, or like did you ever have like that was like
always,
your go-to?
Always.
Yeah.
My go-to. I would say I do like other music. I do.
Yeah.
I do like other music. I do enjoy other music, but I will say oldies is an everyday thing for me. Growing up back in the day, when I was a teenager, I loved the freaking Love Light. That was my ish. Like my parents would leave to the mall, go shopping, and they would leave me home, and I would clean the whole house. And my dad had this CD, The Love Light, and I used to play that. Like I would put my music on, clean the whole house for my parents. So yeah, that was, and I will say Darling Baby, OMG, that was like my song in junior high. Like that was like, I would come home and I don't know if you've seen those old big, like they're not that big, but they're stereos. They have the 5 discs at the top.
Oh yeah, the old school ones. Yeah.
One of those. Yeah.
Wow.
So I had my CDs, and I would play that song when I would get home from school. And I had a friend, and she used to like that song, so she was like, call me when you get home and play the song for me on the phone. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So it's just, there's just so many memories, I will say oldies has always been my number one. Yes. Always.
And I want to kind of go back to when you were talking about how your dad would sit you down and tell you, mija, listen to the words, listen to what it's saying. Because my dad would do the same. my dad would be like, yeah, he would be like, listen to the words. Do you even understand what it's saying? I'm like, Dad, I don't know. I'm like 6 years old. I don't know about what heartbreak. I don't. And it just, now as an adult, I'm like that. Now, recently they told me, man, like you really let the music speak to you, right? Because like, I don't know about you, but me, like when I hear something new or something, that I haven't heard, like I play that over and over, like all day, right? Like a few times a day.
Yeah, because it grows on you. It grows on you. But you will know when you love the song, because if you hear it for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever, and if that song gets you right there, then that's your song. That, like, you love that song. And yes, I will say the same thing. Before, I didn't really understand, but now that I'm older, I understand the music. And where do you go when you're having a bad day, or you just want to like chill and listen to music? You always go to like those songs, those oldies that can relate to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's I see it.
Yeah, and I think like it's so important, like how, and I'm saying this because, I know we have listeners that love music, and that's probably why they're listening to this podcast, for the love of, soul, right? But my thing is like, if you're listening to us today, and you're not a person that actually takes your time to like listen, you're just hearing the beat and you love it, it's a vibe. but take some time to really like connect with the song or the music that you're hearing, because it will speak to you. It will move you. It will, and you just have to take like that moment, listen to it. And for me, I think like I don't know if you can relate, but like for me, I think I grew up like a lonely kid. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't really talk to people. I couldn't really like. I just felt like my life was so different. And when I, as I started growing up and started going through my own things, like my own issues, I have a hard time being able to open up to people and talking about, if I share things with you, because like it's, man, I really trust you, because I just don't just open up to just anybody, So for me, music connected with me because the fact that I didn't have anybody, I felt like I didn't have anybody I could speak to. I felt like music was my friend, because it's, you have those songs like, that I can relate to the situation that you're going through, and just knowing like, man, somebody out there has experienced the same thing that I'm going through, and it's going to be all right, and it feels good, it sounds good, you start feeling better or whatnot. That's how I was able to connect with music. I don't know if you can relate to that, but that's my connection with
music.
Soul.
Is our music, I will say, is our therapy. It's my therapy.
It is.
Where do I go? I go to music.
Yeah.
It just does that. It just hits where it needs to, and yes, I can relate to that. I can. I've always been very quiet. I do hold a lot, in, but after the years, I've learned to express myself more, and I will say the help with my siblings, my friends, that helps me too. I am able to open up and talk with them, and I mean, I still, the same thing my dad would do with me, share music. I do the same thing with my siblings now. I share music with them, and I'm just like, hey, listen to this, because that makes me feel happy, and makes me feel like he's doing what he used to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, for sure. I now I'm like that at home. Now like if I go into my office and I shut the door and they hear loud music, just leave me alone. I'm going through something.
Oh yeah, she's going through it today.
Yeah, like let me be, because I gotta be alone in my thoughts and with my music. That's it. I'll get at you later. But that's me right there. I understand. Yeah, it's hard. I think I'm still working in that area of my life to just be a little bit more open. I'm still in my little journey, my little process. But it's not always easy. Okay, so then, when did you start collecting vinyl? Because I know you're a vinyl collector. When did you start saying like, okay, now it's my turn?
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. It's been about 2 years now that I've been collecting. I kind of wanted just to do the same thing my dad did, and I want to continue playing music. I want to continue playing his music on my YouTube. Like, I just want to keep his legacy going,
So your father passed away, right? He unfortunately passed away. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, or?
Well, he passed away 3 years ago. It was unexpectedly, he was only 55, so it was unexpectedly, but I will say, I just want to continue his legacy,
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I want to do. Yeah.
And that's through music, because that's where his passion was at. Yeah. Same, girl, same.
Yeah, I feel more connected to him, when I'm playing his music, when I'm up there spinning, like, I feel connected to him. I feel closer to him, So,
yeah. Yeah, I definitely can relate to exactly what you're saying, because just like we said earlier, right, like both of our passions came from our parents, right? But now that they're gone, it's like, how can I say it? we find ways.
How do we connect with them? Yeah, like we find ways to connect with them. And it can
Right.
even be a song that you both like or that
Right.
he shared with you. You know, like there's a lot of songs that remind me of my dad. There are songs that my dad dedicated to me, you know, and I listen to those songs and I'm like, okay, like, you know, this is our little bond. This is my connection with him, you know. So yeah. We have our ways through music to still feel like they're somewhat here, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I do, you know, like that's exactly what you're saying. Like that's how I feel connected to my father. And sometimes I'll just put music on and I don't know, I sometimes think like people must think I'm crazy or something, but I'll put music, like all his favorite songs, and I'll be like, you know, cause I have his ashes, you know, I'll be like, Daddy, you ready to jam out? And I'll put them on and I'll, you know, be talking to my father, you know, but it's hard, and I feel like that's the way exactly how you said, you hit it right on the nail. It's that music that connects us to our loved ones, right? That are no longer here, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to continue to share that for other people, right? So that's the beautiful thing about it, that no matter you know what we've gone through in our life, that we can still, our fathers can still, their voice can still echo, even after they're not here, through us, through this music. You know what I mean? Everything that they taught us, everything. Go ahead.
We keep them alive in our hearts.
Yeah.
Yep. We keep them alive. And that's what we have to keep doing. Just keep them alive, you know, just because if you don't do it, if nobody else talks about them or shares anything about them, then who? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I said, you know, if I will and that's exactly what inspired this podcast. Actually, this podcast was launched on his second year anniversary of his passing. And that day, I take that day off, you know, because I'm emotional that day still. I can't.
Me too, girl.
Yeah, I can't even go to work. I'm like crying.
Nobody's going to see me on that day at work.
Right? Yeah, so I call that day off. And I spend the whole day, right? I spent the whole day crying, just going through it, just missing him. And I don't know what, I snapped out of it. And I said, you know what? My dad didn't raise no little. Like, you know, I just started like, what am I doing? He wouldn't want.
We gotta
so I go, Yeah, so I go, you know what, Dad? Because, you know, I'm going to go ahead and start this podcast. On his anniversary, I started it. And I was like, you know what? I know you taught me better than this. You didn't want me to, you know, so I'm going to do something that we both love, which is music. And I'm going to go ahead and launch this podcast because we're going to, your memory's going to stay alive through this music.
Yeah.
And
that's why, well, that's why I started my YouTube, because I wanted, even though I know he probably wouldn't have done it himself, because I would always tell him, Dad, why don't you start a YouTube? And he's like, for what? All my freaking music's already out there. Everybody's putting it out there. And I'd be like, yeah, but it's coming from you. You do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah. My dad wasn't the type to be in the light. He was kind of just laid back. Like, yeah, I did that. But sometimes I wonder, like, do you really know how much people really looked up to you and you touched so many people with that music? Because when he passed away, OMG, people to this day still reach out to me and they're just like, man, like, your dad's music changed my life. I was going through a hard time and it helped me get through, and you know, now I'm a collector and this and that. And I'm just like, wow, like that, it makes me feel really good, you know, it really does. And I'm just like, wow, you know. So that's why I started my YouTube channel as well, because I wanted to continue to keep putting my dad's picture out there, his name out there, because I want people to know, because there's all these other YouTubers that have their channels and they put my dad's music out there, they put other people's comps out there, and then they're taking the credit like they did the comp, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I gotta keep my dad shining, and I like what you're doing too, Crystal. I really do. I like that you're doing this for your dad.
Yeah, awesome. And you know what? Everybody, I want to just say, please go follow her YouTube channel. How can they find you? Because I want everybody to go follow you.
Okay, so on YouTube, I have a different name. It's Nessa's Sweet Soul.
Okay.
And then, of course, Lady Lost Soul as well. But my YouTube channel is
I think
Nessa's
yesterday
Sweet
I found you under the Nessa. The Nessa?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I found you.
Nessa's
Yeah.
Sweet Soul. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how I found you yesterday under Nessa's Lost Soul, I think. I think that's how I found you. I'm not too sure. But everybody, be sure to go follow her. Let's go ahead and show her love when you go on YouTube. After this interview, go follow.
Thank you. And I also do lives. I do lives on YouTube. I do spin my records on there, and
That's dope.
so
Yeah.
sometimes people just like to see the vinyl, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And so you started collecting vinyl 2 years ago. Do you remember your first record that you purchased that you were excited about?
So my very first record that I purchased was the Young Hearts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. The record was The Young Hearts Get Lonely Too.
I don't think I've heard that one yet.
Okay, yeah, it's a really nice song. So that was my first record that I ever bought. And then from there I just started buying records. But I will say my daughter did buy me a record. It was Brenda and the Tabloids, The Touch of You.
Yes, I love that one.
Yeah, she bought me that. She was like, Mom, I bought you this. I was like, oh my God. And then after that I was like, you know what? Like, I just want to start collecting. Like, I want to start buying records. And yeah, from there, I just started buying record after record. And it's like a high, you know, when you get that box on your doorstep, you're just like, woo, let me open this and let me play it. And, you know, it's exciting. And I'm like, wow, this is how my dad used to feel.
For sure, of course.
Because you just want to open it. Yeah, you just want to open it and just play it and see what it sounds like. Yeah, so
and I think it's still I think it's still exciting because, like, you can hear the song online, but it sounds so different on vinyl. You know, I love vinyl. I don't know, maybe I'm just saying that, but it's nothing like hearing it on vinyl.
Yeah, and you can hear that little popcorn in the back.
Yes.
We're like, oh, there's something that I can hear something. I'm like, yeah, that's called vintage.
That's how it's supposed to sound. That's funny. Well, what has vinyl collecting gotten you into? Like, have you been out there? Like, what are you into right now?
Yeah. Right now, I've been spinning. Not a lot, but I do. You know, link up with some of the girls and spin with them. I do, you know, like little bars. I'm not sure if you're McGee's. I've been there. It's fun. You know, when you get up there, you know, you're spinning your vinyl and you see people bobbing their heads, and then some will come and dance, and you're like, okay, they like what I hear. They like what I'm playing, and it makes you feel good. You know, you just want to play the next song and see if they like it, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. I enjoy it.
Do you remember? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Do you remember the first time that you were personally asked to go spin, like at an event?
Yes. Yeah. So it wasn't an event. It was Tiny Soleta. She reached out to me. Nasty Ness. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. She reached out to me, and she was gonna do her own like hosting at a bar in Lomita. And she reached out to me and she's like, hey, you know, like, you want to come spin with us girls? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm down. Let's do this.
Dope.
Mind you, my first time, you know, on the tables, and I was just, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous because I was like, shoot, I've never done this before. You know, first time, I have a record player at home, you know, that's different, but you're playing with two, you know, two right there. You gotta know when, like, how to put the needle on, listen to see if it's gonna play. You know, it's a little tricky, you know.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I did good. Everybody loved my music. I had everybody on the dance floor, and I was just like, okay, like I could do this, and yeah, that was my very first. And after that, I, like I said, I mean, I haven't done a lot, which I'm always down, I will say I'm always down if they ever ask. But yeah, that was my first time, and yeah, it's fun. It is. It's really fun. I'll be spinning again on the 28th of this month. So
That's
yeah.
dope. And I have another question for you. So, being a vinyl spinner, I know, like, you have to play, like, well, better yet, let me ask. In your own personal time, what are your favorite type of oldies to play? Like the more fast beat oldies or the more slow oldies?
So for me, I'm more of a rare soul. I'm a rare soul, sweet soul kind of girl. Like, that's what I like. I will take a little bit faster upbeat when I go to spin, but I will say when I do spin, I always take doo-wop, because like I said at the beginning of the interview, my dad had a love for doo-wop. I grew up with doo-wop. That was like my first love of oldies. So every time I go, I always take doo-wop, always. And then I kind of just push myself into, like the rare soul, the sweet soul, and yeah, and then I will take, like some fast upbeat, like more, if I do have the time, because mind you, everybody's set is an hour. Yeah. So there's only so many records. We could only play like 20 records within that hour, so, but I will take a faster, just in case I feel like, you know what, let me throw in something that they could start dancing to,
Sure. Yeah, I'm like you too. I love the more like slower, rare soul type of thing in my own personal life. Like I just gravitate towards that more than the faster upbeat one. Your whole collection, which one's like your favorite record?
Oh man. My favorite record, OMG. I don't even know if I have a favorite record. Well, the one that I just purchased is Wendy Renee. I'm sorry, I'm freezing over here. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, so Wendy Renee is one that I just purchased, and I really, really wanted to get my hands on, and I have been playing that a lot. So it's Wendy Renee, Give You What I Got. Right now, that's probably one of my faves. Yeah, because there's other songs that I would love to purchase from her, but they are a little high up there. Yeah, so kind of like trying to buy vinyl. It can be costly. It's not cheap, So, but I will say right now, I'm kind of digging that right now. But yeah, there's just so many. There's just so many singers that you just, like Gene Chandler, like that's one of my faves. His music, he just sings so deep. Like you could just hear the cry in his music, like, in his voice. So many, but I will say right now,
That's so dope. Well, our last question for the interview is, what is the best advice that you can give to the next generation of vinyl spinners?
Just keep your love for music. Just keep doing if you have a passion for music and you want to get up there and spin and, collect, do it. Just do it. Don't be shy. Don't hold back. Just have fun. Love the music. Love what you do. That's what I love it. I love it. I love the music. I love going up there. I love seeing everybody smile and just, just do what you want. If you got love for music, do it. Go up there, spin them records.
And if you don't know, like, I always like to mention this in our podcast episodes that don't be afraid to reach out to all these vinyl spinners, because I feel like a lot of the intimidation comes from like, wait, what do I buy? How do I know that I'm buying a good record? Or, maybe we don't have the knowledge, but every
Yeah.
vinyl spinner that I've met has been super, super nice, super open, willing to help educate. Like, don't be afraid to reach out. Hey, like I have a question. Shoot an inbox, shoot a DM, something. Like don't be
Yes.
scared, like
And
to
I will
ask
say,
questions.
everybody is so cool and so helpful. I will say
Yeah.
that. Everybody explains, and I will say, since I started, collecting, I will give it to Mike Noriega. He has guided me. He knows my style. He knows what kind of music I like, and he'll send it to me and be like, "Do you got this? You need this." I'm like, "I need it. Are you sure I need it?" Yes, you need it. So I will say, I gotta give it to him. That's one of my dad's friends since the 80s. He's helped me a lot. I will say, I have to thank him for helping me and guiding me through my collection.
Yes.
But yes, everybody don't feel like embarrassed or anything. Reach out. Yes, everybody is so cool. The Soul family is just so cool. Like we're all helpful within each other. No hate, nothing. Just hey, you love music, I love music. We got something in common, and we're cool.
Yeah,
and that's
of
what's so
course.
nice about. Yes.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much. Any last words? Anything you want to say?
No, just thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored. It was nice to hear your story as well. I feel like we have something in common, with music, our dads, just everything, and I'm just grateful, to be on your podcast, and I just want to thank my family, my friends, and just, everybody for all the support. It's cool. I'm digging it. I love it.
That's awesome. Thank you. No, I definitely had a great time. I told you we had a lot to talk about.
I know. A lot more, but
no, but that's so dope.
I probably left a lot out, but
Well, we could always do a part 2, girl. So don't worry. If you were like, "Hey, I forgot about this," we'll do a part 2. Don't worry, we got you. Yeah. Well, thank you again so much. It was such an honor to have you. Thank you so much for sharing your father with us. I do want to say that. Thank you so much for sharing your father with us and continuing on his legacy. And I know that you are making your father very, very proud. And I'm talking from another daughter. So I know we're making our fathers very proud. And again, thank you so much. And that does conclude. I'm over here getting all emotional, so let me conclude. This concludes episode number 11 with none other than the beautiful Lady Lasso. Go check her out on YouTube. And they could check you out on Instagram as well, right?
Yes, Instagram, yes.
All right, so go check her out, go follow her, and show her some love. That does conclude episode 11, and we'll see you on the next